Hi guys. I'm sorry for the delay in another video. As many of you know, I have memory retention issues, so I don't always remember to do videos. But today I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. You'll have to excuse me as I am, yes, in my pajamas with no makeup and my hair is not done. And the reason why that is because I have a terrible migraine. So if I seem quiet or distracted, that's why. So you have to pardon me. But I kind of felt it was important that I talked about this particular situation as it is something that I'm going through right now. And when it comes to disability and people in the outside world. I have kind of have two situations going on right now. One involved an individual and an email communications between me and this person, where I was asked some questions regarding my distancing and why I seem to be pulling away. And the other situation is in regards to a Facebook post that I posted when it came to my personal thoughts and feelings. Now, I'm going to precursor a lot of this information and a lot of my personal thoughts and feelings about this. But first, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not anybody who has any credentials when it comes to this. Like I do with most of my videos, I'm going to state this. I'm going to state it again today. This is just me. This is what I feel I know per my personal experience and the situations that regard to me. Now, my situations may be very different from yours, may be similar, but you may be going through it in a different context or a different situation. Again, I'm just voicing my personal opinions on this stuff. And secondly, I kind of want individuals who aren't disabled to watch this particular video specifically, simply because I want them to understand a little bit more on the depths of long-term disability and injury and what that means. So we'll go for the first situation regarding the email. I received an email in regards to a person who is somebody in the community with me, not the disabled community, but the burlesque community. And she asked me why I was distancing myself and why I didn't seem as connected with her and her group of individuals. And I didn't really go into depth into all the different situations, but there's a self-preservation situation that comes into being when you're permanently disabled. Now, people who have been injured may notice it in a slight bit, or they may notice it. I won't say a slight bit, but they'll notice it if they are disabled for anything over a couple weeks. People have a hard time relating to somebody who's disabled or newly disabled or long-term disabled. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And so they tend to remove themselves from the situations. And actually, they're the ones who end up starting the distancing. You no longer are invited out to things. You're no longer included. And the worst part about it is none of them really mean to do it. It's a process that happens naturally. And I don't want to say naturally, but it happens subconsciously. And it could be from people's fear of death. It could be from people's fear of injury and pain. But in my situation, I don't know what caused these individuals to no longer invite me out to things and stuff like that. And so in the beginning, I was very upset and I was very sad and mad. I was still in the height of figuring out what was really happening with my body. And so, it's problematic. We live in a day and age where communication is purely based on Facebook. Nobody really calls anymore. Nobody, everything is via text message or Facebook. And for people who are disabled and can't go out a lot, we live vicariously through Facebook. Now, I will say this very clearly. That is not a healthy way to live your life. It's not an appropriate way to live your life. But for people like me and others that are even in worse situations, unfortunately, Facebook is the window to the outside world for us. So it can be really problematic for us. It can be the seed and the seed to our depression. I know for me, I have a really bad time with Facebook, especially at my worst points. So when I noticed this, after my anger had kind of subsided, I determined and made a situation very clear that I needed to become more self-preservationist when it came to my situation. So I opted to start taking a back seat to certain things when it came to these particular individuals. And it was really to protect my mental stability. It's hard when you go on Facebook and you see a group of people who you consider your friends off having a lovely picnics. They have generalized all the time picnics in the summertime or they're all out at dinner and, you weren't invited or things along those lines. That's really hard for somebody in a situation like mine. So I opted to kind of put my head down and really kind of put myself into a situation where I felt I was going to protect myself in the long haul from the up and down roller coaster of depression and being unsure of myself. So fast forward, that was probably 6 months ago. Fast forward to the past couple weeks, right before Christmas, this individual had come up to me and asked me a lot of questions. Didn't ask me a lot of questions. She said she wanted to communicate via email. And so I kind of initiated the email because I hadn't heard from her. And the questions were, I've noticed you distance yourself. I'm wondering why. And then there was another comment in there. I don't care to really go into that next comment because it would kind of indicate who this person is. And that's not really my thing. I don't want to call somebody out publicly on this kind of thing. So I believe that secondary affirmation, completely personal to myself. But I let this person know, look, I kind of noticed that I was being pushed aside every time I was in a conversation. Nobody really talked to me. I was no longer being invited to things. And so to protect myself, I decided to kind of distance myself. And I prefaced that email with, these are my thoughts and my feelings. I'm sorry, I cannot apologize for my personal thoughts and my personal feelings. But I did initially apologize to her if if my comments made her feel bad, because that's not my goal in life. I left my mouth shut for a while in regards to this because I didn't want to hurt somebody else. I can handle my own personal pain emotionally. It's hard, but I can. And I don't think I need to spread that around the world that situation's going on. Needless to say, I did not get an email back. So I recently emailed her again, apologizing to her that if my words upset her, that was not my intention. So there's situation number one. Situation number two is a little bit more upsetting. I know that I should not go on Facebook and let the world know that I'm not feeling great. Facebook is not a great place for that, but in the heat of the moment, it was very difficult. And so I voiced my opinion on being depressed and lonely and feeling like I'm watching everybody else have fun and not being invited to things. Well, I recently got a message from somebody who had, yes, invited me out to many evening time things. Evenings are not good for me. I go and I burlesque and I perform because that's my source of income right now. It's the only money I have. So I will ignore my pain. I will pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I will go and I will smile and I will enjoy myself, and I will go home and then I will cry because I'm in pain. Okay? I hurt. I hurt every day of my life. And this is not a pain that's going to go away. This is a pain that is nerve pain. It's not like a normal pain. It's not like the pain when you cut your arm or you have broken a bone. This isn't like that. This is something that normal, everyday prescription medication, even at the highest levels, i.e. hydrocodone, Oxycontin, things like that, they don't fix this kind of pain. They don't assist in this kind of pain. So I live in this perpetual limbo of pain about how bad it's going to be and how bad it's not going to be. It's just kind of part of the situation I go with. Now, this person messaged me very recently and stated that she was upset by the fact that I would put those comments, or pretty much that she was upset that I felt that way because she had invited me out on multiple occasions. And she had invited me out to many evening events, which financially and physically are hard for me. And she had invited me out to some daytime events, but unfortunately my body had determined otherwise. I have to listen to my body. And I messaged her back, and, I pretty much said the same thing. First off, I said that I was mad that she was trying to make me feel bad about my personal feelings. And now I didn't say those exact words. I said it a little bit more eloquently. And that I go through pain. Now, she indicated that she understood my pain because she dealt with something for a year. Now, nobody in this world has the right to make somebody else feel bad about their emotions and their feelings. It's not right. There are constructive ways in this world to talk to somebody when you feel upset about them posting something on Facebook. I don't like sending comments when it comes to emotional stuff via Facebook. I don't like using the messenger. I like hearing somebody on the phone. With my TBI, I have problems understanding certain cues now, especially in reading messages. And I feel as adults, we should communicate in the most efficient way. And the most efficient way to eliminate the possibility of people being misunderstood is to call somebody or in person. Now, we all have thoughts and feelings and opinions on things, and nobody's thoughts and feelings are any more or less important than anybody else's. But if somebody is clinically depressed and a comment comes back that your comment has upset them, there are other ways than Facebook to communicate with them. You have to understand, people who are disabled, our world is a box, okay? And we don't want to be in the box, but the box is a safe place. We know everything that's going to happen in the box. But we struggle with wanting to have normalcy like everybody else. It's a constant struggle. We want to be able to function like everybody else. We want to be able to go out and have fun like everybody else. Our world revolves around a certain set of restrictions. And unless you're talking with somebody who has had that same exact experience, i.e., if somebody else has had the kind of nerve damage that has happened to my arm, where their arm is no longer functioning, then they will be on the same page and understand much more readily what the situation is. Now, again, I am clearly stating that nobody else's pain is even more or any less than anybody else's, because it is their pain. But there's always going to be a certain amount of unevenness to every conversation. And I think able-bodied individuals need to understand that we, as long-term disabled or permanently disabled, our situations don't go away. And Facebook is a wicked mistress. I wish the comment out of this individual would have been something along the lines of, I'm sorry you feel this way. I know I've tried to get you out of the house and those situations didn't work out. I'm sad that you feel this way. It makes me sad to know that my efforts have not been able to produce a happy result in you. Something along those lines. For me, that's a much more productive way for me to break out of the situation I'm going through, to look at a situation and go, you know what? No, she has tried, and I feel bad for not being able to because of my body, instead of saying, I'm upset by the fact that you commented on things like that. So guys, words are powerful. They're powerful, powerful, powerful things. And they can hurt, and they can cut. And though intention is amazing, we have to be more aware of the words that we are saying or typing to the people in our lives. Because when you type it, there's no inflection. There's no understanding. There's no hints about what that person is actually feeling. So I guess in closing this off, I'm just asking for everybody to take 10 minutes out of your day. And if you're upset, if you're mad, if you're happy, if you're glad, if you're depressed, if you're concerned, if you feel looked past, if you don't know what's going on, instead of sending an email or a Facebook message or even a text message, stop and think, maybe this conversation would be best resolved via the phone. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's always going to end in a happy result. But what I am saying is, it may make a situation much more, what's the word I want to use? Much more cordial, much more equal. So yes, that's my little addendum for right now. I'm going to now get off my soapbox, and I'm going to go back and lay in bed because my head hurts. Again, I close it out with saying, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist, though I want to be one. I only know the experiences I go through. Please take whatever I say with a grain of salt. If you decide to implement it into your life, hopefully I've been helpful. Otherwise, I think my next video will probably be on friendship. I think it's a good indicator for that. So if you're in California, please be safe as we are about to have a storm. If you're other states where it is snowing, please be careful. And if you are feeling bad and mad or sad today, reach out to somebody via the phone and talk to them about it. And always preface that conversation with, I just need to vent. I love you all to death. Have a lovely day.